fight to this point in his last several fights.
This is round one of this lightweight title unification fight. Mikey Garcia in white, black, and green trunks. Robert Easter Jr. in the blue and white trunks. The first lightweight title unification fight on Showtime since the greatest fight that I have ever seen. The first meeting between the late Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo. A fight 13 years ago, enhanced by the call by my Hall of Fame broadcast partner Al Bernstein and the newly minted Hall of Famer Steve Albert.
It was an honor to do that fight as it is this. And Robert Easter has come out. He has already thrown 15 punches in this fight to none by Garcia, and most of them jabs. So I guess he wanted to get off to a fast start, Paul.
Trying to establish that distance. Easter wants to establish a distance. He wants to dictate at this distance right here, because at this distance, Mikey is kind of ineffective and has to work his way inside. So Easter, by use of the jab, which is your main weapon at establishing this distance, and of course proper balance, will force Mikey to get a little creative. We'll see.
Sharp jab from Mikey Garcia. Robert Easter Jr. left the familiar trappings of his hometown to Toledo, went down to the Sunshine State to work with respected trainer Kevin Cunningham. And in fact, he did so at the behest of his good friend Adrian Broner. And tonight he is looking to avenge Adrian Broner's loss to Mikey Garcia, a fight that took place at 140 pounds.
At this distance, Mikey will have to step in harder with his jab. So Easter will have to understand that and, of course, look to set up those counters.
Gil Clancy used to say all the time, the great Emil Griffith was an example, a shorter fighter who could land his jab against everybody, because jab is a lot about timing and how you throw it. So
exactly. And we have seen Mikey Garcia's timing. It makes metronomes envious.
Well said.
Good body shot by Easter, probing, and then goes upstairs with a sweeping left hook. And again, trying to establish the jab, Paulie.
Yeah, and establishing the jab is not just for establishing your offense. Here, establishing the jab also, at this distance especially, keeps Mikey from establishing his own offense and keeps the chess match going. The thing about the crowd, where the judges have to be careful. Anything Mikey throws, the crowd gets excited, as he missed the right hand there.
Easter has been officially knocked down once against Richard Comey in what was a spirited battle where Easter became lightweight champion, the longest current reigning champion here in his fourth title defense. But he has concerned some of his fan base with his performances in his last two fights. In his last outing against Javier Fortuna, many thought he deserved the loss in that fight out.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why he's such a big underdog. Garcia's starting to get a better range with the jab and the right hand.
Yeah, he's not really landing a lot of it, but what's happening is he's making Robert lose his positioning. And that can cost you later.
Round number 2, since making his pro debut in July 2006, Mikey Garcia is 9-0 with 6 knockouts against former or current world title holders. Easter is Garcia's 12th consecutive opponent who has held or fought for a title.
Mikey Garcia, since he has come back from that 2.5-year layoff, has averaged over 50 punches a round, which is 55 per round, which is 20 more than he used to average before that. In the first round here, he threw 18, so he's still getting on track to figure out how best to attack Robert Easter.
Easter targeting the body from distance.
And Mikey's not the kind of guy that's going to waste punches, so he's not going to throw punches from outside that distance where he's comfortable. Right now, Mikey is trying to establish his, get a little closer, and then he'll start to shoot some shots. It's up to Easter to continue to use that jab to establish a longer distance.
Cunningham told us there's, of course, not much you can do in one camp with a fighter. They just wanted to tweak certain things for Easter, and he wanted him to, and Garcia comes in and just misses with that right hand. And like you said, Paulie, the crowd reacts and maybe can influence the judges, because he obviously didn't catch him like they thought he did.
Yeah. But, you know, it's part of being a judge. You have to keep it professional. Easter, I think, should start feinting, though. You know, he's using his jab. He's using a couple of shots, but it's getting a little too predictable, and he's making up for it by giving up too much ground. If he starts to feint, he'll keep Mikey off track a little bit and prevent him from walking him down so easily.
Minute and a half remaining in the second round. And this is the kind of fight, though, Robert Easter Jr. wants to be involved in, right, Al? Keeping him at distance at the end of the jab.
Yes, the pace is what he wants. And, you know, Kevin Cunningham said that Robert Easter's focus in camp was very good at continuing what he did.
And sharp jab by Easter. Sorry, Al.
Yeah, he thinks he will follow follow the game plan, he won't get out of control, and he hasn't so far.
But keep in mind, Easter is losing positioning a lot of times when making the defensive moves. Mikey, on the other hand, has great positioning all the time.
Under a minute left in the second round. If there is one critique of Mikey Garcia, Paulie, is that at times he can't square up in front of his opponents.
Yeah, and that makes him a little hittable, but Easter has to commit a little more to the offense to take advantage of that, and right now it's a little early to do that.
Yeah, Garcia closing in, and now Garcia loading punches along the ropes, and Easter just no real significant damage done in that attack. 30 seconds left in the second round.
Yeah, close distance, I thought Easter did a smart thing there. You want to just minimize the attack by smothering or clinching. Easter's best bet is to fight at this distance and make Mikey work to get the right distance he wants. One thing I like to see Mikey doing, though, is cutting off the ring.
Sharp jab from Easter. Round 3 scheduled for 12 to unify the 135-pound title.
Important statistic, the previous high of power punches landed against Mikey Garcia was 8 by Pedro Navarrete. Guess what? Easter landed 10 in the last round. Of course, that's anything other than a jab. So Easter has controlled the tempo of this fight extremely well so far against Garcia.
And why Easter is a different type of opponent for Mikey Garcia. Since his comeback, he's faced Sergey Lipinets, who's 5'7", 67-inch reach. Adrian Broner, 5'6", with a 69-inch reach. Dejan Zlaticanin, 5'4", with a 65-inch reach. Helio Rojas, 5'7", 70 inches. And so you look at Easter, 5'11", 76-inch reach, and it is incumbent upon Easter to maximize those advantages.
And, you know, he's withstanding the urge to go in and throw lots of punches, crank up the hook. He is fighting discipline, but there's Garcia attacking very well.
Right now, it's a fight that we fought in spots until it kind of starts to take its own shape.
Jab again connects for Easter.
And again, you like to see feints with Easter. Easter's got a nice jab going, but he's not feinting with it.
Minute and a half remaining in the third round, but Easter is still keeping Garcia at the end of his punch, but now Garcia trying to lunge in with the left hand.
Well, I think using the jab, using his jab to work his way is important for Garcia. Remember, that's not Mikey Garcia's normal game plan. So he said, if I have to change and be that aggressive fighter, then I'm going to get on the inside, but it's not what he normally does.
Easter cuffed him with a left hook.
I love how Mikey, despite being aggressive, still keeps those fundamentals. He keeps that jab, he works behind it, keeps that balance, and doesn't overreach himself.
Garcia always remaining cool under fire, very composed, incredible balance, sublime skills, a reason he is an undefeated 4-division champion. But Robert Easter Jr., a huge underdog coming into this fight, wanting to, well,
good hook there by
buck the odds, and Garcia again lands a great shot.
Caught Easter bending on it.
This has been a much better round for Garcia.
Under 30 seconds left in the third round. Garcia with the right cross. Left hook drops Easter.
Are you okay? You want to continue?
Robert Easter Jr. down for the third time in his career. The first time since being knocked down against Roman Martinez with a right hand in November 2013. And Mikey Garcia pouring on the pressure. Easter holds on.
We'll see how Mikey Garcia was able to get Easter down. A beautiful right hand followed by what else? A nice left hook by Garcia.
I'll tell you what, the jab puts Easter out of position. It's that positioning on defense. Watch Easter's position once Mikey Garcia shoots that jab. Watch, he puts Easter out of position here. Easter's looking to counter, shoots the right hand. And of course, once he's out of position, he's there also for the hook.
And that's the difference between Garcia and some other fighters. They would not have thrown that left hook as effectively.
And why is he able to throw it, Al? Because he keeps that balance proper to keep following up with more shots.
And a correct round scheduled for 12 in this lightweight title unification match between undefeated champions Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter Jr. And Easter again trying to just establish the jab, slow down Garcia's momentum.
Mikey Garcia feinting more now, and that's helping him get on the inside. And Robert Easter has to be very wary of that.
Jab connects for Garcia. Counter left hook that was grazed off the glove of Garcia by Easter.
Garcia has thrown as many jabs in this round as Easter. That's the first time that has happened.
Cupping right hand behind the guard by Garcia thanks to the effective jab out. Left hook behind the guard by Garcia.
You see what Easter trying to do? He's trying to hold his ground now on defense by blocking the shots. And that's so he can possibly come back with more shots.
Garcia with another sharp jab on Easter.
But the risk there is you're there for Mikey's follow-ups.
Just past the midway point of the fourth round. A chorus of Mikey resonating throughout the Staples Center in Los Angeles.
Easter has not thrown the right hand much at all to the head. He's going to have to try that punch, even though there's the danger of being countered by the left hook of Garcia.
And speaking of counters, I think Easter needs to land one or two sharp counters to create doubt in Mikey's offense. So right now, Mikey's not doubting his offense enough.
Final minute of the fourth frame. Easter parry a jab of Garcia.
See, instead of making defensive moves, Easter this round is trying to hold his position a little more. But again, without counters, you still don't create doubt.
And for the first time in this fight, more punches being thrown by Garcia in this round by just a couple of punches.
This is an attempted counter right by Easter.
Easter backs up to the ropes, maybe trying to set a trap as he lunges forward now on Garcia. 30 seconds left. Garcia just misses with the right. Lands a left hook to the body. Right hand to the body. Left hook upstairs. Mikey Garcia putting it on. Robert Easter. Easter with a counter left.
And true to his word, Garcia, who doesn't normally go to the body that much, is going downstairs because he's got the opportunity.
We are through 4 rounds at the Staples Center. Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter Jr.
His own inimitable fashion.
Stay classy as we begin round number 5, scheduled for 12. Laura Ranallo, Al Bernstein, Paulie Malignaggi at ringside, joined by Jim Gray, Brian Custer, the entire Showtime Championship boxing crew. And Easter goes down the middle with a right hand, trying to disrupt Mikey Garcia's rhythm.
You see Mikey Garcia's rhythm. He kind of probes with that left hand. He's got the upper body movement. You see the creativity. He's not just your technical textbook boxer. There's a little bit of creativity among that textbook stance there.
Garcia growing up in a boxing gym. His father, Eduardo, he and his wife would be working the strawberry fields in Oxnard, doing that for 20 years sometimes. Garcia's father would go straight to the gym from the strawberry fields, but it has been the family's commitment to boxing that has ensured it wouldn't be strawberry fields forever, Al. And Garcia now, you look at the power punches landed.
Yeah, he has taken control in that regard in this fight. Not monstrous numbers either way for either man, but clearly Garcia getting the better of that. And of course, Robert Easter, his dad, has guided his professional career. Now Kevin Cunningham is a part of it. And his dad in the corner, we heard him really trying to urge his son to get him back on track in this match.
Yeah, Easter had his first amateur fight at the age of 10. Over 240 amateur bouts. His referee, Jack Reese, calls time momentarily to check the head of Mikey Garcia. Easter was an alternate on the 2012 U.S. Men's Olympic team as he attacks the body with a right hand and again nails Garcia with a jab.
An oddity, Easter had
power left hook upstairs by Garcia, right uppercut, left hook.
I think what Robert just did right there, I think he has to do a little bit more. Use that physicality. See how he pushed Mikey back. Push Mikey back a little bit using some physical boxing.
Right uppercut on the inside by Garcia.
Because Mikey, as you can see here, is getting into too much of a rhythm, landing some good shots. So Mikey does a little subtle thing. See how he bends. He uses with that left hand. He kind of probes up and down with it. You can't really get a timing on when he's going to shoot that jab or other shots, because his balance is always perfect as well. There's no hitch.
It's a very close round here, though, in round 5.
Easter backed up to the ropes, but blocking the punches of Mikey Garcia, Easter splits the guard, and Easter with a sharp jab again and again.
He's used his jab a lot more in round 5 than he did in round 4, Easter.
Garcia misses with a left uppercut on the inside. Easter able to pivot and reset in the center of the ring. Jumping around in weight, Robert Easter Jr. has scaled from 133 to 136 for all 21 of his pro bouts. He's weighed in at more than 135 only twice. Boiled himself down to 134 and a half for the official weigh-in.
It's amazing for his height. You know, he had 14 out of 17 knockouts in his first 17 fights. Then in his last 4 title matches has gone the distance and had 2 split decisions. So when he has stepped up in class, he's not been the power puncher he was earlier in his career.
Easter attacks body with the jab. Garcia's eyes focused on Robert Easter. Easter coming forward, lead right hand. Easter pops Garcia's head back with the jab.
Easter, the jab is a weapon obviously he wants to use, but he hasn't changed any speed on it and hasn't gotten creative enough since the first round. So Mikey's starting to get more timing on things.
Huge edge in terms of body shots, or make that headshots landed by Robert Easter.
Also, Robert, in the early part of the fight, the jab is used to establish a distance and prevent Mikey from getting off a lot of offense. Now that Mikey's taken advantage of this in this fight and taking the lead in this fight, Robert's going to have to change that jab to a little bit more aggressive.
Lead left hook clips the jaw of Robert Easter.
And it's the mentality of the jab, meaning it's to set up offense instead of just to establish distance. Otherwise, Mikey's going to stay in this rhythm.
And Al, in his last couple of fights, Robert Easter Jr. against Southpaw's been smothering his offense, fighting smaller than his physical dimensions.
Yeah, not doing that tonight. And that's one of the things that's beneficial to him. Even though Garcia has maybe taken a little bit of the play away now, Easter's continuing that and has kept control of the range to a great extent.
Everything is behind the jab for Easter, but like Paulie says, really not varying or diversifying and single shooting with the jab, while Mikey Garcia trying to find a way inside.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Same speed and no feints.
Easter is throwing more punches than Garcia and is controlling the range and the distance. So in that sense, I'm not, whether he's winning these rounds is debatable.
If an entire round goes like this, I'd say Robert wins the round. But the thing is, Mikey only has to land 1 or 2 right hands, and that takes the play away.
Garcia lands a combination, smothering Easter along the ropes. Easter trying to mitigate and stymie the attack of Mikey Garcia. Garcia lands a right hand. Easter rolled with it, misses though with these rights and lefts, and while the crowd cheers, Easter emerges unscathed.
That was a good rally though for Garcia.
12 rounds. Mikey Garcia in the white, black, and green trunks. Robert Easter Jr. in the blue and white trunks.
That last round, Easter was able to connect according to show stats with 16 punches. That was his high of this fight. So that may be a round that, even with the rally at the end by Garcia, might be an Easter round.
Vasily Lomachenko and Raimundo Beltran also with claims to the 135-pound titles. We bring in our unofficial scorer, Steve Farrad. How do you have it after 6 rounds?
I think we have a fight here, my wife. 57-56 for Garcia. I've given Easter the last 2 rounds, although they've been very close. And the judging puzzle for our 3 official judges, how many jabs equals 1 power punch? That's always been a question with scoring. And Easter's landing the jabs, multiple jabs. Garcia's landing the better power shots.
And that's the thing. You also controlling the tempo, controlling the pace, controlling the distance. Easter does that when he establishes the jab.
And the other thing is, we're a minute into this round, and Garcia's thrown 2 punches, and Easter 22. So I'm not saying all those 22 have landed, but you know, he's going to have to be a little busier.
That's one of the small negatives of Mikey Garcia's style. He only throws punches when he's in the perfect position. So keeping him from achieving the perfect position with a good jab, sometimes you lower his output and diminish his output. And with a diminished output, he doesn't win a round.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22.
First half of the fight highlighted by Robert Easter Jr. going down with 25 seconds left in round 3 from a Garcia right hand followed by a left hook to the chin. But it is a close encounter after 6 rounds. Garcia Trying to score with the uppercut, the right hand, and then Easter keeping him at bay with a jab.
You know, however this fight ends up going, you have to admire Robert Easter keeping his composure after that knockdown and also not getting wild. He is continuing to go with the game plan they set out for him.
Yeah, and I like the adjustment, too, on defense. Instead of trying to slip everything, he's held his ground and sometimes.
Oh, good jab followed by a right hand behind the guard that momentarily bothered Robert Easter Jr. 45 seconds left of the 7th.
And that's the thing. Sometimes you're holding your ground, we'll get you hit with that side of the head right in, but it prevents Mikey from gaining momentum. It's like a train, you know, he keeps going and going, and it's got that forward momentum.
Oh, right uppercut on the inside, lead right uppercut by Easter.
And Easter doesn't want to retreat to the ropes where Garcia can work both the body and the head.
And I think that short uppercut can be a key for Robert. It's hard to catch Mikey over the top because he's so balanced, maybe underneath.
Garcia scored with another left hook behind the guard.
Oh, good. 1-2
by Garcia. 10 seconds left in the 7th round. Competitive battle between these two undefeated champions.
It's a good round and a close one. The jab has been a staple of his attack, and doubling with it. Look, to the head, then down to the body, using it to control a lot of this fight and landing with it. It's not as if he hasn't landed. Then later on in the round, Garcia using his own jab to do what? And set up a kind of wide right hand that gets through the guard. And that really is a microcosm of how this fight has gone.
Take too many shots during the round. If you can control the distance and the round with a jab, you got to make sure you don't get hit with too many right hands.
This is round number 8, scheduled for 12, as Easter again comes out, feeding Mikey Garcia the jab, pawing at Garcia there. Now a double jab upstairs and then to the sternum by Robert Easter Jr. Finally follows up with a right hand. His father, Robert Easter Jr., telling him in the corner he has to let his hands go. He has an effective jab, but needs to follow it up.
And they want to see the right hand come behind it. Now that they don't want to see, a lead right hand that's kind of wild.
Good counter jab by Robert Easter.
And you see their records is past 7 rounds. Both men experienced. Both men are undefeated in 12-round fights. Obviously, they're undefeated in general.
Adjustments you would like to see Mikey Garcia make, Paulie, in order to get closer to Robert Easter?
You know, I think he's got to cut off the ring a little bit better. Easter's having his way moving around the ring. Mikey's keeping pressure, but he could probably cut off the ring a little bit better and make Easter feel a little more trapped. And when a fighter starts to feel trapped, he starts to force shots and make mistakes you can make him pay for. Easter has actually remained confident with that jab, and that's a good sign for him, considering he was down earlier in the fight.
One of the things that's fascinating is Garcia's not a fighter that likes to do this necessarily. Chase somebody around the ring or try to cut off the ring and be the aggressor. It's not his natural style. So the question is, can he be effective at it? Now, Easter hasn't landed much while he's been moving around.
Easter.
And that's the thing, like I said, we see forward scorecard there. 2 points for Garcia. That's the thing, like I said before, if you're going to control the round with just the jab and movement, you got to make sure you don't take too many shots, because it'll even swing the pendulum the other way. But if you're able to do it, trust me, I made a career out of this. If you're able to do this,
yes, you did.
And if you don't take too many right hands, you can actually control and win the round just on the jab and movement.
Final minute of the
line.
8th round. Cunningham wants Easter to use his physical dimensions to control the ring space, and you know, Easter has stuck to the game plan throughout this fight. Also worked on balance, footwork, and other subtleties, but again, only so much one can absorb over 10 weeks as Easter absorbs that Garcia attack. Garcia lands a left uppercut, or left hook, but Easter again able to get away from the ropes.
And a double left hook there by Garcia. That's something we haven't seen from him. It would be effective.
Mikey Garcia to work the body. Easier said than done when your opponent has an age reach advantage, right?
Yeah, well, they want to push him to the ropes where he can do it.
There he
does it.
On cue.
And by the way, Easter threw only 31 punches in the last round. That was the lowest he has thrown in this fight.
So you need Robert Easter to stand still to get to his body, and when Robert does that, I think Mikey does a good job of getting to the body.
And Garcia did a good job of executing a sharp jab right there. Now Garcia using some head movement, feinting. Has Easter along the ropes. Easter with the peekaboo guard. And again, Garcia throwing punches, but Easter defending well.
They wanted more punches from Robert Easter. He's thrown 4 so far in this round. So they didn't get the activity so far that they want from him.
Yeah, we saw his father imploring him in the corner to throw more punches. And I also like what Kevin Cunningham said, move him into some shots. Because, of course, you want to throw more punches, but you don't want to get reckless and walk into a shot from Garcia. So move him into some shots. And Garcia and Easter sometimes...
Good exchange here in round 9 between Garcia and Easter.
And Easter sometimes...
Sharp 1-2 combination, but a counter left hook by Easter. And things pick it up here in round 9.
I guess Easter said, forget about moving him into shots.
And this is what Mikey Garcia hoped for, guys, wanting to load Robert Easter into this kind of fight.
But Easter landing some nice shots there, but yes, stylistically not what Easter really wants.
You know what I liked about the character of Easter? He said, okay, I've got to make something happen to win this fight.
And now it's Garcia scoring with the jab, followed by the right hand.
This is Mikey Garcia's fight, this kind of fight. But Easter gives himself a chance to make a stand.
Lead left hook to the body by Garcia. Garcia targets the body again with the right hand. Under a minute left in the ninth. A spike in the energy level here at the Staples Center in Los Angeles as Easter and Garcia throwing the most punches, and there Easter backed up by that 1-2 from Garcia. So a fight breaking out here in round number 9 now.
Mikey Garcia has landed 40% of his punches so far in this round, according to show stats.
And all of a sudden, Easter's jab has gone missing as Mikey Garcia leads the dance in the final seconds of the 9th.
Oh.
Garcia backing Easter up. And Garcia with a strong round number 9.
Fight, Easter stood his ground, was hit with jabs and straight right hands by Garcia. Garcia's found a home for that looping right hand around the guard of Easter. Now, Easter stood his ground and did things like landing that left hook, but ultimately, it didn't serve him as well as he wanted to. Now, there you see him cranking up the hook. I was wondering at what point in the fight would Easter feel like he had to start to throw that punch. That was a nice combination early on in the round for him. That was the last time he was able to truly gain control of the round. Then Mikey Garcia
out of this and get my respect. It seems he got a little fatigued as the round went on, and Mikey was able to take advantage.
The bell in round number 10 here, scheduled for 12. Mikey Garcia, one of 17 fighters to have won titles in 4 different divisions or more. Manny Pacquiao leads the way with 8. Robert Easter Jr. now looking to get busy again with the jab.
According to show stats, Garcia landed 30 punches last round. That's the most any Easter Jr. opponent has landed against him in a round.
And it was the most action-packed round of the fight in that last round. 22 of 53 in terms of power punches for Garcia. A wide chasm. But now Easter allowed to go back to the jab, Paulie.
Yeah, well, I think he's got to go back to establishing this, but in spots. I think what he did last round is needed.
All right, let's bring in our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood.
Mikey Garcia is taking control of this fight. Interesting. Easter used the ring a lot in round 8. Seemed to use his legs up because the 9th was the most one-sided round. Garcia landing the heavier, the flashier shots. I have him at 87-83.
Garcia trying to keep Easter in his sights. Easter allowed to use his footwork.
Mikey did a good job cutting the ring off in that instant right there. Mikey Garcia.
And Garcia attacking the body, then going upstairs with a left hook. So scores effectively.
We've seen Robert Easter languish on the ropes more and more in the last 4 or 5 rounds. And, of course, that's not where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think making that stand last round was good for a second, but he seemed like he did it for too long and then got himself tired, and he's yet to recover from it.
Sharp jab lands for Garcia. Backs Easter to the ropes, and Easter absorbs those 2 punches. Under a minute left in the 10th. Yet Easter able to roll with most of those shots out.
Yeah, but enough getting in, and the activity of Garcia. He's thrown more than 3 times the number of punches that Easter has in this round, and
Garcia now being able to probe the defense and pierce the defense of Robert Easter Jr.
Yeah, I think for Easter it's more of a recovery round here, trying to get that oxygen back as Garcia is able to tee off.
And Garcia not allowing him to do so. Final 15 seconds as we have the championship rounds on the horizon. The 10th lightweight title unification fight in history between undefeated champions Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter Jr.
This round, according to show stats, and against the ropes, it's not a good posture for Easter. Not every
11 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Mikey Garcia looking to, well, hold ground here in his native Los Angeles. Grew up in Oxnard. Fighting for the first time in 7 years here in L.A. And while Los Angeles is becoming LeBron land, he would love to turn it into Garciaville, right, Al?
I like that, Garciaville. You know, Easter has gone 12 rounds in his last 4 fights. 2 of them split decisions. He's obviously undefeated at 12 rounds, as is Garcia. But right now, there may be a hill for him to climb, as unofficially Steve Farhood certainly thinks so.
Robert Easter Jr. has no knockout wins past the 6th round.
That is a salient point, Mr. Mauro Ranallo.
What do they say about a blind squirrel eventually finding a nut?
That's
Under
right.
2 minutes left here.
That's why you're here, to give us salient points.
Well, what is the salient point that Robert Easter Jr. has to make? He again works the jab, but time is of the essence now.
I think he needs to throw that right hand, to get himself stationary and try and nail a good right hand to Garcia to change this fight. He hasn't thrown that punch much at all in this fight.
In his last fight against Sergey Lipinets, Garcia again splits the guard with the right hand, and another 1-2 from Garcia. Against Lipinets, Garcia's power was his saving grace against the tough Lipinets, and it's the power here now, those power shots that he is putting on Robert Easter Jr.
Garcia's a different fighter than he was when he had before his layoff of 2.5 years. He is a fighter who wants to market himself. The Mikey Garcia of that time and before wouldn't be this much of an attacker at this point in the fight, thinking he had it won.
Garcia
if he does.
For his 5th straight win since returning to the squared circle, just ate a stiff jab from Robert Easter Jr., but it's Garcia who's allowed to land the 1-2, and he's putting together the punches. Easter unable to do so, Paulie.
Yeah, locking himself up. Like I said earlier in the fight, you know, he's adjusted his defense a lot to less movement and more standing his ground and blocking, but he's still locking his own defense up.
Crisp 1-2 combination by Garcia, and then finally Easter throws a lead right hand that scored.
Yeah, and finally is the operative word.
Yeah, because you want to be able to transition that defense to offense smoothly. And a lot of times he tightens up too much and can't come back with punches when he's blocking.
12th and final round is on deck. 60 in attendance here at Staples Center for this, the 10th lightweight title unification fight in history.
And there is no questioning their enthusiasm, is there? They've been enthusiastic and alive for this fight. Easter is 4-0 in 12-round fights. Garcia is 3-0. But right now, as Steve Farhood suggests in his unofficial scoring, Robert Easter might need a knockdown and knockout to win this fight. And it was interesting that Robert Garcia was emphasizing, don't do anything stupid, don't take too many chances to Mikey Garcia, and yet he is still attacking.
Yeah, wants to close to show if he can.
But he has Easter on that back foot, so Easter can't really remain that dangerous on the back foot as well.
30 of Garcia's 38 victories have come via form of knockout, and now in close, just clubbing away at Robert Easter Jr.
So when Easter's planted right here, he can be a bit more dangerous.
Yes.
Where Mikey has to be careful. Once Easter goes into that retreat mode,
good counter left hook upstairs by Easter. A minute and a half remaining in the fight. Good 1-2 that momentarily bothered Robert Easter.
Well set up from a feint first.
Nice counter left hook by Easter. At this point, though, I said don't throw left hooks because you don't want to trade hooks. Now, throw them as much as you want if you think you can land it because you're desperate.
Garcia, Easter went down with 25 seconds left in round 3 and under a minute remaining. And the chants of Mikey once again erupt here at Staples Center in Los Angeles. Mikey Garcia is all about challenging himself. He only wants the biggest fights. He only wants to face the best. And tonight, he is showing why he is one of the best in boxing against an undefeated champion in Robert Easter Jr. They like it here at the Staples Center in Los Angeles.
Gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, the judges are in agreement, and we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Edward Hernandez Sr. scores the bout 116 to 111. Larry Hazard Jr. sees it at 117 to 110. And Steve Weisfeld scores about 118 to 109. All three in favor of the winner by unanimous decision. He is now the undefeated and the unified WBC and IBF lightweight champion of the world, Mikey Garcia.